Long ghosts whisper through the trees, cold winds carrying their pleas. Lives ended, stories untold, a heart of stone, a grip gone cold. They said it was him, they swore it was clear. Blonde hair like smoke, the devil near. They said it was him, they swore it was clear. Blonde hair like smoke, the devil near. A heart of stone, a grip gone cold. Long ghosts whisper through the trees, cold winds carrying their pleas. Lives ended, stories untold. They said it was him, they swore it was clear. Blonde hair like smoke, the devil near. They said it was him, they swore it was clear. Blonde hair like smoke, the devil near.
Oh, yay! G'day. Oh, Lord, you've got no idea. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, welcome. And I'm so sorry. If any more turd could have hit the fan today, I would be freckled. The second I went to go live, a tradesman turned up and he's cleaning my gutters. And then my microphone broke and my camera was stuffed and just started fresh. Okay, hello, welcome. Hey, Lizzie, how you going? Hey, Steve. Long time no speak, darling. Did you come and have a look at some Aussie true crime? It's pretty sad, actually. This case, very, very sad. Yeah, poor Martin. So start again, Jodie. Welcome to the Defence Rests. If you've been here before, suffering your jocks because you know what you're in for. If you haven't been here before, welcome. And if you come back again, then it'll be suffering your jocks as well. And my camera is still like that. Just like that. I'll just sit like this. All right. So, are you freezing your asses off tonight? Apparently, it's snowing in Kentucky. Snowing. There you go. Why won't that? Oh, why is that doing that? I've popped out my chat and I can't bring them up on screen. Oh, I got kicked off StreamYard as well. Like, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we'll get it done. So we left off last time after episode 1. We covered from 0 to 13. And we pretty much only got halfway through it. So we got to Libby, the sister. And I'll go backtrack just a little bit just to cover the parents' dynamics as well, because they had very, very different parenting style. So, and that often happens because, you know, mum's at home with the kids all day. They get desensitized. By the end of the day, they've had enough. Whereas dad's, you know, not had a nagging kid in his ear all day, especially one that's so hyperactive as well. He's going to annoy me. He would be full on, and, you know, she had to tie, well, she felt like she had to tie him in a tether on the front veranda, on the front porch, just to keep him from disappearing and going over railroad tracks and, you know, climbing on top of chicken coops and the neighbours. She couldn't keep him in. She didn't know how to control him. So I would absolutely say undiagnosed ADHD child. But we will be going through a few of the psych reports today. The other thing that I found too, when I was doing what is it alarming me now for? Thank you. When I was doing up the format of the stream plan, and I went to do episode 2 in the same format, it started, I got all this misinformation again. So I re-put in what I wanted, like, I want you to confirm this source and show me where you got it from. And it came back saying, no, unreliable source. So then I had to go back in and change everything again for stream 2. So that's why I'm late. I apologize. And that man is still on my roof. If you can hear that noise, I apologize. All right. So let's go back to there. And I have just found the teleprompter. So I can bring it up on the screen and not have to squint. Or I could AI it. So I can look at the camera and read. How's that? You were supposed to get snow last night too, Liz. I can't put these up on screen. This is shit. What's that plus there? Oh, no. Don't know. Sorry. I should have tested this out before I started. Okay. So Maurice and Carleen operated from fundamentally different philosophical bases, which we know. Why aren't you moving? Ooh.
Constant low-level crisis management. This disagreement colored their entire approach and created a household where Martin received inconsistent, ultimately inadequate responses to his profound needs. They did seek help. Martin was assessed on a number of occasions by psychologists and psychiatrists, particularly when starting school.
No, it's the same camera. It's just that it's daytime here. That's the only difference. I shit you not. Now, can everyone hear her talking or not? I'll press play and tell me if you can hear her again. A nicer voice, though. A nicer voice. Adam? Should we try Adam? Let's try Adam. How you doing, Adam?
Martin was assessed on a number of occasions by psychologists and psychiatrists, particularly when starting school. But whatever interventions were attempted, they were insufficient to address Martin's multiple developmental, cognitive, and behavioral challenges. This reflected the limitations of services available in 1970s and early 1980s Tasmania, but it also reflected a family system that was fracturing under pressures they couldn't fully understand or name. Lindy, the forgotten child, was documented, but equally significant was Martin's younger sister Lindy. Sources indicate that Martin tormented her, though the nature and severity during these childhood years
well
is not
exaggerated.
extensively detailed. What is clear is that Lindy's childhood was profoundly affected by her brother's behavior. She would later change her name and attempt to vanish from public view, desperate to escape her association with Martin Bryant.
She can't be found at the moment. I've looked. I've had other people look. Yeah. I even tried contacting an old friend, colleague of hers. No, cannot be found, unfortunately, because I really wanted to speak to her. But you don't want to be found. That's totally your prerogative. And look, I can totally understand. Totally understand.
She would later change her name and attempt to vanish from public view, desperate to escape her association with Martin Bryant. ACT4, the intellectual REALITYA child in the lowest 1 to 2%, while comprehensive formal testing wouldn't occur until February 1984, when Dr. Eric Cunningham Dax would conduct detailed assessments. Martin's intellectual limitations were apparent throughout his childhood. His full-scale IQ...
Oh, she's shit. Sorry. She's shit. I don't like her. So basically, we're going to go while I'm going to do the teletype. Yes. Teleprompter. Thank you. Oh, I hate technology.
This reflected the limitations of
Did I say you
services
could talk?
available in 19...
Did I? No. Okay. So it's the intellectual reality, basically. So Martin was assessed by Dr. Cunningham Dax. Now, Dr. Cunningham Dax is a fairly controversial psychiatrist in that he came all the way over from the UK, and he was affiliated with Tavistock Industries, which was affiliated with MK Ultra. I don't know if you've heard of MK Ultra, but it is like the program for gifted gifted children generally, I think, and they have like a plan of a thought pattern, and so they imprint all these different things as you grow, and they basically try and build something like a sleeper, like a sleeper sniper type of thing. That it's high CIA jargon, blah blah, which I actually, when I was reading about it, I'm like, this is a load of rubbish, absolute bullshit. I don't want to hear this crap. Why are they doing this? Why are they saying, oh, he's been mind controlled into doing this, and that's why he doesn't remember, and all this. So I pretty much just and and then the following week, the second case that I'm working on in Kentucky with the sheriff, one of the witnesses there actually was part of MK Ultra, and was telling her experiences with it. So I'm like, how can the two cases so random, one from bloody Tasmania, Australia, and one from Kentucky, US, have this, and I'd never heard it before, have dealings with MK Ultra? As that can't be a coincidence, surely. Surely the universe is saying something. And I generally ignore the universe, unfortunately, which is probably much to my detriment. And I've lost chat. All right, I'm going to get rid of this teleprompter because it's shitting me. I can't do both. I want my chat back. I like my chat. Yay! Hello! Drugs are bad. Okay. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh dear. So have you heard MK Ultra? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm a bit scattered because of all the IT crap I had to deal with this morning. You got no idea the actual setup I have to get the camera at the angle that I need it. And because of the weaknesses in my shoulders, like I've got really, really bad upper body. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
See ya. Really bad upper body strength, and I can't lift my arms up over my head. So for me to actually lift my arms and adjust the camera at the same time, it kills me. And the guy that comes in to do my vacuuming moves it every time, and it drives me mental. So, all right, let's do this. So he was assessed by this Cunningham Dax, who is associated with MK Ultra, which just totally freaked me out. So he was assessed as having an IQ of 66, which is in the lowest 1 to 2% of the population. 1 to 2%. And I might actually go through and read his, I'm sure I brought it up, Cunningham Dax's report. Is this the full one? All right, so this is comparing to, hang on. So he was assessed at 1984. I think he was only a child then, at 3. The assessments are just horrible. Like even especially Paul Mullins, the one that did the 1996 one for the trial. I mean, I'll show you a clip of it. He just basically calls him a dim child. Like he doesn't even. It's just it's horrible. It's horrible, and it was definitely done for the prosecution's benefit. That's for sure. So the questions that were raised in the 1984 assessment, that was Cunningham Dax, that if Martin was so severely disabled, he required constant parental efforts to prevent deterioration. Why was there no ongoing professional oversight mandated? Because this actual assessment that Cunningham Dax did allowed him to get on the disability pension in Australia and for life. So they knew he couldn't gain or maintain employment, and that he would have to be financially supported forever, and they needed to put something in place so that when they were no longer able to financially support him, that this would come in and look after him. And that's exactly what I'm on, so I know how crap it is. All right, I want the actual full. So basically, once they had this assessment done, Maurice became Martin's carer, so to speak, his dad. And at 16, that's probably not one of the best things that you want to happen. But Martin was very close to his dad, actually. He had a better relationship with his father than with Carleen. So, but it intensified his role. And he functioned as what would be called the human equivalent of the leash that his wife used to tie him to on the veranda. Because he recognised that he was the only thing preventing Martin from hurting himself. Now, they go into one of the things that I discovered with the report was that they brought up all this animal cruelty. Now, I actually checked and double-checked last time and went right over everything because, in my opinion, there was nothing to show that. There was that was just it was hearsay, basically. It was a statement that a neighbour had said years and years and years ago, and it was all conflated into absolute rubbish. There is absolutely no evidence whatsoever of Martin being cruel to animals anywhere, anytime. In fact, when he's actually interviewed by the police, they are talking to him about using the AR-15 and where he used to go and practice. And so he went up, he told them where he went, up bush, down this little track, and he said, what do you use as target practice? And they said, you take cans up? He's like, yeah, I shoot at tin cans. And then he said, do you take bottles up and shoot at bottles? He said, oh, no, that would hurt the animals. I take up cardboard signs with a target drawn on it. So he can't possibly have gone, they might ask me that in a psychological evaluation, so I best get that down pat first. He ain't that smart. What the other thing was that Cunningham Dax documented was that he was illiterate, could not read or write. He left school the day before he turned 16, totally illiterate. But funnily enough, let me show you this. Oh, this is the shit that makes me laugh. Like, really? You want to do this shit? You need to make sure you do it tight, because this is cracking big time. Where is it? Martin. Pictures. No, wrong one. Oop, go back. Where are you? There it is, this one. Oh. Okay. I will share this. Somehow. Geez, I need to get... I'm losing my touch here. This is... You forget what things you need to have open and where they need to be, and Christ almighty. Okay, share screen. Share screen. What's that one called? There it is. Okay. Let's full screen that so that you can read it. So, pretty good for an illiterate, I reckon. Ooh. Oh, friggin' hell. Yes, very, very neat writing. Yeah. I, Martin Bryant, wish to plead guilty to all charges. Brackets 72. 72 charges. And then there was the next one. Fuck, I've lost it now. Where to go? Okay. There. And share screen. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So clever. So clever. What you can learn in 5 months in the hole is amazing. Amazing. That's right. Yes. Yes. The only reason he became really good friend. Oh, hey, Simi, how you going, doll? The only reason he became really good friends with Heather, Helen Harvey, was their love of animals. She had, I think, 40 in her garage in cages, as well as umpteen in the house. And apparently, the house was nearly condemned because of the state of cat feces and all sorts of stuff. But she died before that. So look, you can't tell me that an illiterate man can actually write where he was positioned within the cafe. So this is an overview of the cafe, and this was submitted as his confession, and was accepted by the court. So he was sitting right there at that table, and he notes where the exits are, and he notes the direction of the bullets and how many people were at each table. Yeah. Which way he was pointing the gun from. He moved. Bullshit. Actually, I should save that clip. That was a good clip. Where did I save it? Which one? Where the fuck did I say that? Sorry, I'm evil. I've just got a really, really good really, really good. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Sorry, because it makes me laugh every time. Yep, this is happening. Okay, download. Oh. Oh man. I've had a bit of fun this weekend, I must say. Sorry. And I can't even really explain it all because that would give it away. But yes, this is the funniest. Yep. All right, video clips. Let's upload that right here. M, talk about yourselves. Talk about yourselves. Huh? Come on, are you saving it? Oh, thank you. Videos. We'll save it. Okay, there it is. That's saved there. Where'd it go? I've lost it again. Well, come on, Jackie, really? Fuck. I hate technology. I really do. Videos. Thank you. Martin. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Supposed to upload, you motherfucker. Get in there. Get in there. Add file. There we go. Yeah. That's handy. That's going to be very handy to have. And I've got lag. Not happy, Jan. Why has that got? I don't like it. Ready?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
And all right. Are you all still with me? Because went off on a tangent there, as you do. So, Cunningham Dax. Very well, apparently. A very well, I'm sorry, this very well renowned psychiatrist in his field, very groundbreaking, did a lot of, apparently, a lot of good stuff, but was involved with this MK Ultra. And I apologize. I took that with a grain of salt and didn't even go down that rabbit hole because I didn't believe it. Maybe I should. Okay, where is his actual report? I know I downloaded it. View document, is that it? Maybe. Nope. Oh, okay. I know what I've done. When I had reassessed it, I didn't select the time frame. So I've got one that covers the entire case and one covers from 13 onwards. Okay. So from let me get up some pictures for you because you don't want to be looking at my noggin the entire time. That's not kosher. Pictures. This is all the stuff that I would have had up and ready and set up and queued up had I not had a tradie turn up. Okay, so I've got some, I have some pictures here that I'm going to scroll through, but there is a couple that could be a little graphic. So viewer discretion, okay? Just warning you now. Okay. While I talk, you can have a look, and I'll just skim through them. From the period of birth to age 16, Martin's entire childhood, there is no documented evidence of animal cruelty. So I got them to check that. So, but for his entire life, people bullied him, rejected him, misunderstood him, and teachers gave up on him. Classmates tormented him, and he was desperately lonely. Now, Maurice, his dad, when he turned 14, and now I don't know, this is unusual in Australia. I don't know if it's unusual in the US. Better? No. But Martin was given an air rifle for his 14th birthday. That's better. From his dad, which, yeah, that's 14, especially with considering the fact that, you know, his IQ was actually registered as an intellectual disability, which is another factor when it comes to his maintaining his rights. So not only does he come under the legislation of human rights, but he comes under the legislation of disability, the Disability Act as well. And John Avery, his attorney, violated just about every one of them, every single one of them. Had it been US, it would be the equivalent of not having his Miranda rights read to him, pretty much. Probably worse, actually, because this man has spent 30 years now in jail. 30. Not even understanding or comprehending why. Can you imagine what that would do to your brain? And the first 3 years, he was not allowed to see his mother. He wasn't allowed to see anybody, actually. The prison wrote to Carlene because she had been requesting access, and they just kept telling her, doesn't want to see you, doesn't want to see you. And they weren't even giving him her letters. What I'll do is I'll link those letters from Carlene and from Ryton Prison. I'll link them in the description box when I finish the stream, so you can have a read them yourselves. But yeah, so now this is one of the things that I questioned when it came up in the report, about Martin was alleged to have shot this parrot, and then not only did he shoot the parrot out of the tree, but allegedly went up and shot it in the head multiple times after it was dead. And so when I got them to double check and triple check yeah, it was a whole lot of shit. Yeah. It was an unnamed witness in an article in 2009 and was deemed unreliable. There you go. And he was also said to have shot at tourists as they were driving by. And like an air rifle wouldn't do any damage, but yeah. Yeah. So the only friend he actually had his entire life was Helen Harvey. So age 17, Dr. Dax's 84 evaluation was conducted, and this evaluation is cited as saying that he could be schizophrenic, was never actually diagnosed. And the only surviving case notes of Dr. Dax are completed in 1984 are available. The full report is missing. Okay, well, that explains why I couldn't find it, because I have got I looked at the heading surviving case notes and skipped over it because I wanted the full thing. Dickhead. Such an idiot, Johnny. So don't mind me at all. Come on. Oh, this goes into a whole heap of shit. Question: if Martin was innocent, how did this happen? I haven't even read this. The perfect storm, media hysteria. Oh, that's right, the immediate monster narrative. So the social media, someone actually stole the photo of Martin. How do I make the next one? Next, ready, please. Next slide. Tell me it's bringing up one thing. Oh my God. The universe. Oh. No, siree, Bob. It's saying a big fuck you. Fuck you, Jody. You're not playing today. Martin. There it is. Would you believe? The most popular photo of Martin ever. I didn't say it. Yep, don't have it. I think I believed I had it and went, I got that one. Don't need it. I get shit out of luck, sorry. All right, I will put nice one off Brian. Come back. God. My fingers aren't fucking working either. Okay. Oh. Right. Thank you. I'll have to do. Okay. Age 17. Now, Martin was 29 when this happened in 1996, in April 1996. Late 1980s, so 20 to 22. Social Security assessor. Oh, no, I was going to research this one again too. So he had to go and have our Social Security is called Centrelink here, and they are the ones that provide the disability pension. And every so often you have to get your case reviewed. So obviously he's had to go and get it reviewed, and the assessor allegedly made a comment that the father protects him from any occasion which might upset him as he continually threatens violence. It would be unsafe to allow Martin out of his parents' control. So that was, that was out of a 2009 article. The assessor is not named and the exact date is not specified. The original document has never been released. See, that's why I questioned it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get Cunningham Jackson's report and maybe do a little bit of Helen Harvey. The questions that were never asked. Oh, maybe I'll go through this. This looks good. Yes, okay. The intellectual disability injustice, okay? Even if Martin Bryant is guilty, and that's not for us to decide, that's for a jury of his peers. But my argument is that everybody deserves the right to a fair trial. And that process was absolutely taken away from him. There was not a defense raised. There was not any defense experts even questioned. There was no investigation on the defense's part whatsoever. And it was his own defense attorney, John Avery, that admits that he coerced him into a guilty plea. In fact, I'm going to get that up now because you just really need to see it to believe it. So I'm going to save it in there.
live it, the awful loss of life. But the person responsible is an enigma, seen but never heard. We're about to change all that.
I thought, Christ, what's this fellow going to be like? Is he Hannibal Lecter like? Is he just plain evil? Moved away from it.
And why this horror happened, and who Martin Bryant really is. He is. In your own words, you went there for that first meeting with a sense of trepidation.
Yeah, I did. It was pretty soon dispelled, I might.
Fuck me. Stop.
Like, is he Hannibal Lecter like?
God damn it. Yeah, found it. Now, this is John Avery. This is Martin's attorney. Bad pause. Suffer. You deserve it.
Like, is he just plain evil?
Representing Martin Bryant, his new lawyer, John Avery, appointed after Bryant had pleaded not guilty 6 weeks ago.
And like the man who got to know him best at the time, you'll be able to form a very clear picture of this infamous individual.
Now, this reporter is Mike Willesee. Mike Willesee was a very, very well-respected, or probably still is, but investigative journalist in Australia, and was always like one of the most common faces you would see in Australia when you turned on the news or 60 Minutes or some, reporting. He was one of the most common, and he's the one that's interviewing John now.
Never before seen police video, hand drawing of the murder scene by Bryant himself, and the inside account from his lawyer. We'll seek to discover how and why this horror happened, and who Martin Bryant really is.
A child.
He is.
Now, whilst you're watching this, I want you to put yourself in the headspace of a 9-year-old, because that's where he's at. And he has no idea what they're questioning him about. Okay?
In your own words, you went there for that first meeting with a sense of trepidation. Yeah, I did. It was pretty soon dispelled, I might say, when he was wheeled in a wheelchair with his legs manacled and handcuffed, and with a big grin on his face, like a big schoolboy. I didn't any longer see any connection with Hannibal Lecter.
You think? That's all he's worried about. It's good to get out of his cell, because he has no idea what they're talking about.
It's a way of me finally putting the Martin Bryant saga behind me.
Rubbish.
It's been around in some ways for so long that hopefully now I can bury it.
Hang on. There is a special thing for this.
Bullshit.
Back in the 80s, a younger Martin Bryant wandered the streets of Hobart selling rabbits to his neighbours. At the time, John Avery was a young lawyer and lived with his wife around the corner from Bryant.
I didn't realise that there was
I don't
any
actually think
connection.
this is true.
But he quickly told me, "Oh, do you still live in that big house with an oak tree in the front? And does your wife drive a Holden station wagon? And do you drive a white Mercedes?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." And we got talking. I went home and I said to my wife, "Do we know this fella?" "Oh, yes," she said. "Don't you remember he used to come around as a little boy selling rabbits around the neighbourhood, and I'd never let him in the door because he'd peer around like he wanted to see what was inside."
That small connection would help John Avery years later when he was called on to be Bryant's lawyer and needed to build trust.
I thought that was the thread I needed, that somewhat personal contact, to hold on to him through this process. And rightly or wrongly, I used it.
But didn't it frighten you to think this man has killed more than 30 people, injured more than that?
Allegedly.
No, it didn't frighten me once I saw him, because I could see that without the gun, without the weapon, he was nothing. He was a nobody. He was a sad, insipid little boy.
We've got some of the guns here. Mr. Warren might hold them up.
All right, now this is them grabbing the AR-15. Now,
Not the best way, but it's big.
okay. Now, the witnesses in the cafe, their recollection of the event was that the shooter held the AR-15 to his right hip and basically opened fire from that point and twisted his hips whilst he was aiming. And most of the fatalities in the cafe were all headshots. That's because they were sitting there in a seated position. So if he had the AR-15 at hip height, that then would correlate with the bullets hitting at that level, which makes sense. Now just watch how Martin picks it up.
No, it's not loaded.
To understand how Bryant had become a cold-blooded killer, Avery needed to get inside his head. He hired forensic psychiatrist.
So this is his defense attorney, Avery. Yeah? Did you just hear what he said? I'll play it again.
How Bryant had become a cold-blooded killer. Avery needed to get inside his head. He hired forensic psychiatrist Professor Paul Mullen.
So he hired a professor, like the prosecution's professor, basically, that to try and get into his head to support his belief that his client was guilty.
All that was required to get him talking and keep him talking was to show an interest.
The dickhead.
It was all about him.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All about him. Bryant was a good-looking young man, blonde.
Now, Professor, is this your professional diagnosis right here?
Wide, handsome, childlike.
Because he was a child.
One of the problems, I think, throughout Bryant's life is that he looked an attractive kid, he looked an attractive adolescent, he looked an attractive adult. He also looked an intelligent kid, an intelligent adolescent, and an intelligent adult, but he wasn't.
No.
So people who met him had
You can't have it both
expectations
ways, though.
of what he'd be able to say and do and how he'd react, which he couldn't live up to. This was a dim child who didn't look dim. This was a kiddie who struggled in lots of ways from a very early stage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think his parents almost certainly did the best they could. I mean, he has a sister who grew up perfectly normally.
Libby?
Incompetent or abusive or terrible about his parenting. There was nothing at all deprived or damaging about his family background. It was the nature of this dim, irritable boy who people really, no one could manage well.
And how come you never got around to getting a driver's license?
This is this.
I didn't think I'd ever pass
Didn't think he would ever pass.
through the course. Because I'm not that bright.
Not that bright.
Odd and difficult. He was never placed in the kind of special schooling that would have been appropriate for someone of his intellectual or lack of intellectual abilities. Partly, I suspect, again, because his appearance. He looks so good.
You don't see mental illness on the
Bryant
outside.
was a loner. He struggled to fit in. He dropped out of school before turning 16.
The day before.
He told you all I wanted was for people to like me.
Yep.
And that, in a sense, was where his rage came from.
No.
He couldn't understand why people didn't like him. Couldn't understand.
I have watched umpteen bazillion videos of Martin Bryant, and in not one of them does he ever even get cranky. No. Yes, I'm sure he would get frustrated and annoyed at his lack of understanding and not, fitting in or whatever, but not seen any rage at all.
Moved away from him. He believed that this was because they were malicious, had it in for him, and it was all terribly, terribly unfair.
That's Helen Harvey.
But Bryant did strike up an unexpected friendship with this woman, Helen Harvey, an heir to the Tattersalls lottery fortune.
An eccentric as
She
well.
died in a mysterious car accident. Bryant was also in the car and suffered a serious neck injury.
He was in
She
hospital
left
for a
him
month.
2 properties and more than $500,000.
All right. This is actually more than that. It goes to motive. So you imagine you're 29, you've got a wonderful girlfriend, and you've got a shit ton of money, and you've been overseas half a dozen times. Like shit, isn't it? Must be. So all of a sudden you decide, let's go down and shoot 35 people. So the Tattersalls, I've actually been trying to find out the actual net worth of Helen Harvey, because that's 649,000 Australian dollars. Back in those days was huge. I mean, it's huge now, but it was huge. Plus the 2 properties he had as well. But there was also her shares. Like she had she was gifted like a certain number of shares as well. And for future, I can't even think of the word of it, but like the future earnings and percentage from Tattersall. So it was an ongoing payment, and that is said to have been worth near 28 million. So even more of a motive not to do anything, but a motive because he didn't, because of his intellectual disability, he was very socially unaware. So he flaunted that money like you've got no idea. And so did Helen. Helen apparently would buy a new car every second week, basically, and they would just drive around in it. And as far as them saying that she died under suspicious circumstances, they have said it multiple times that they believe Martin pulled on the steering wheel. Can't be verified. She's not here. He was injured. He actually had crushed vertebra in his neck and was in hospital for months. He could have thought it was a joke, but then and that would show, if he did do that, it would show that he has no idea what consequences of his actions are. So take that as you will.
She died and left him rich. She died, left him very rich indeed. How did that affect him? I think it was a disaster. He thought with that would come friends and would come girlfriends and would come a social life and all these things. But what came with it, of course,
Travel.
was people willing to exploit him.
Yes.
and certainly take him on short term to get what they could out of him.
So I wasn't interested in the money. I was more interested in what he had to offer as a person.
That's his girlfriend.
In 1995, a year before the Port Arthur massacre, Mary was Bryant's girlfriend. She asked us to hide her identity. They were together for 8 months and took several holidays interstate.
I remember we were in a restaurant in Sydney and he was looking at the age or something, and I could tell he wasn't really reading it. I don't think he was that smart. He was only just pretending to try and impress me. And I remember smiling at him and pretending and going along with it to make him feel good about himself. Like, he could be smart. He was smart in some ways, but in some ways not very smart.
On another date, Bryant took her for a boat ride. They ran out of petrol and were stranded for hours.
And I started crying. He started crying.
Oh, really? So
He
he
started
didn't
crying.
go off and
He
have a
thought that was
taxi?
it. Thought we were going to die. I was hanging on to some hope that something might drift somewhere.
So in this boating mishap, Martin Bryant was crying because he thought he might die.
And you flip
Yes.
it this way, Mike.
Seems strange against all the evidence of him
Yeah.
going in and shooting all these people. Where
Yeah.
he told some people that he thought he would either die or get captured,
What?
but he did it.
See, this is just that. Hang on. Wait for it. Wait for it. This is going to come very handy.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, doesn't it? Just goes to show you. Everyone has an ulterior motive. So getting back to the media stuff. So the photo that I don't have, the really, really common one where he's standing in the blue jumper, that was actually located within his home. And the Mercury, I think it is, the newspaper down in Tassie that ran the headlines, had that that photo the night that he was arrested from Seascape. How did they know who he was? How did they know where he lived? And then the paper's headlines the next day were that he's a killer. Let me see if I've got that photo. I do have it. I know I have that. Because I saw it when I was looking for the other shit. Oh, you kidding me? Fuck me, that's the door. I'm going to have to get that. I will be right back. I apologize. Oh, fuck off.
In the hollow where the shadows fall, we gather round, we hear the call. Liquid fire from the mountain's head burns like truth, but it tastes like sand. Oh, it sure feels right at the end of the day. Drink it up, let the story stay. The creek laughs low, the fire cracks loud. We lose ourselves in a moonlit crowd. air so thick it hums and sings.
All right. Hello. Sorry. I do apologize. I'm going to have to cut this short. I have a meeting that I have completely forgotten about. So I I will make it up to you. I apologize. I'm sorry. So thank you again for joining us. I'm sorry to cut it short so quickly. But I will be back on tomorrow, 8 p.m. your time for Eastern Standard Time, doing another. We're going to go through, Brandy is going to rejoin us, and we're going to go back to the beginning at Letcher County and do a full background and a who's who in the zoo. So we get to work out who fits where and where fits who. All right. Thanks again for joining us. And thanks, Liz. I shall see you when I'm looking at you. Hasta la vista, bitches.